Kasoa police has picked up 2 persons in connection with the death of a trotro driver after he was attacked by some land guards in his house. But a son of the deceased blames the police for not responding swiftly to their distressed call. Now, the attack happened earlier today at Opekuma, that is where the 52-year-old commercial driver was said to have met with these land guards. He was stoned by the land guards and had cutlass wounds inflicted on him following a disagreement over the transport fare. Son of the late driver and residents have been speaking with Adum TV's Nanaya Brefo, and they have been narrating what happened, the torture that they suffered at the hands of the land guards when they attacked them at home.
One who said boys Nikita Sekana de Omoba, and to be the Musa Missino Sekana did the mean to me, the men is a major police station.
Guards stormed our home at around 7 p.m. They came in with their knives and cutlasses. We all got scared and ran out of the house. I rushed to the police station to report the case, but I had to stay there for over an hour. No one attended to us. The land guards attacked everyone in the house. They butchered my dad.
1.5 hour cry. Until after 1.5 hour,
I will be speaking with the district police commander for that area before the bulletin is over. But in the meantime, head of Fulani community in the Ashanti region says Ghana stands to benefit from the presence of nomadic herdsmen if their activities are regulated. Osman Ahmed Amir says these nomadic herdsmen are ready to collaborate with government in the production of meat, other dairy products for local and foreign markets. He spoke with Joy News' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
We don't have milk production companies, but if you are to look at this Fulani issue, all these factories can be built to produce milk for human consumption. And let me tell you, milk is so important to the human being that if you look at the United Nations, we are supposed to take 73 liters of milk at least per year. But are we doing this in this country? No, because we don't know much about the value of milk. So if we are to bring all these things, definitely it will help us to produce more milk. It will boost the nutritional content consumption of the country. And at the end of the day, it will be a very good source of businesses for people too. Secondly, that is lotion. Through this animal production, we can get lotion from it, where we look at the number of the amount of money that people use to bring in all sort of lotions in the country, which are most often artificial. But if we are to concentrate on this thing, we can have a natural one which is likely to help us to even our health and all this bleaching and all things that they have, which are harmful to human beings. If you are to look at it and then coming out with so natural type of product that we have, at the end of the day, you can even see how beneficial it is, beside the creation of jobs on that aspect too. So if we are to look at this Fulani issue, I think we can get a lot of benefit from it.
You have been engaging with your colleagues Fulani men. Have you been able to know the number of Fulanis we have in the country or in the region?
Yeah, for that is difficult. Even the Ghana government cannot get the exact number of people in the country. But we are trying. Like when I went there to talk to them at Kowu, I said that they should register themselves. I gave them a guideline that they are a cattle dealer, a cattle owner, his name, his telephone number, the number of cow herdsmen that he's having, and the location. So that at least at the end of the day, we can have a whole about their statistics, because very soon we are coming out with a package, a proposal to the government on the way that he has to handle this Fulani issue, their cows, and how it can be beneficial to the government. Believe me, Fulanis has been in this country for long. Their contribution into other sectors of the economy cannot be overemphasized. To the military, to the police, to the health sector, and to all type of this. My father was on the throne since 1922. In 1948, do you know that his contribution to the number of people he gave to fight along the West African British soldiers? 100 soldiers. If a person comes, then they will say it in Fulani, anata militaire, na? It means in our language, will you join the military? Say, I will enter. Before then, you realize that the people are in. In fact, wherever we are and we hear that there's this kind of killing, it's a problem for us. I took it upon myself to go all the way to mobilize the Fulanis at Kohu to talk to them, that they should live in peace with their, with their fellows. And then another thing, it's not only the Fulanis who are into this business. If you go there, there are all sorts of northern tribes, including the Kohus, the Ashantis. They are all animal. They are into that business because it's now a business which is fast moving in the country. And then because of the geographical nature of the Kohu people, rearing of animal is very, very good. So most people are into it. Now, the cattle owners are rich. They can pay compensation for the land. We lease land. We don't sell land, as people are saying. We can lease them. From there, we bring the modern system, that's the ranching system. Through the Ministry of AGRIC, new grass, new breed can be grown. Then they can have the fodder banks, so that it doesn't need the animal to be roaming around. And then they can also fence the animal so that they don't go out and be entering people's houses, people's farms, causing all these problems.
Now, founder of the All People's Congress, Hassan Ayariga, says so far, the NPP has failed within the first 10 months. He says the free SHS is a failed program. He alleges that fees for students in Form 1 and 2 have been doubled from 300 to 600 Ghana cedis. Hence, the doubled amount is what is used to fund the free SHS. Nancy Emefa Dwadosi was at the briefing for Joy News and joins us via phone with details. Emefa, what else has Mr. Hassan Ayariga been saying?
Right, Daniel. So besides him talking about the fact that the free senior high school policy so far has failed for the first 10 years, he's also alleging that almost all the policies that he says he was going to implement are not really going as planned. And so he should sit down and the president should be serious and make sure that he's able to fulfill most of his promises. One other thing he also mentioned was about concerning his party. He's saying that so far, or as of now, all executive positions occupied have been dissolved, except that of the founder of the party.
So, if I can get this straight, the APC does not have any executives apart from a founder.
Exactly. All he's saying is that as of now, they're all acting executives and nobody is substantial.
But what are his old executives saying? Did we have any reactions from them?
Well, we don't have any reactions from them, but he's saying that they are still acting. However, he just wants to go back because of what happened, if you remember, during the 2016 elections when some of his members left the group saying they're going to put their weight behind the president, another than Kufuor. And so it's on that basis that he's saying that they want to re-strategize and come back as a solid force.
Right. Thank you very much, Nancy Emefa Dwadosi, for joining us. Now, 7 months after being enrolled into the Youth in Agriculture Extension module of the Youth Employment Agency, beneficiaries are yet to receive their first monthly allowance. Joy News' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has been interacting with some recruits for government flagship Planting for Food and Jobs program.
My mom is proud that the daughter is working. And if I come to tell her that, hey, I've been working now, but they don't pay me, will she agree? She won't. So it's like I'm deceiving them. I'm taking the money and I don't want them to know. It affects me. It affects me. And you see, I can't even tell my friends. I can't if someone asks me, they said you are working. I can't openly tell them that I'm working because I don't know my stand. I don't know my stand. So
We've started work. We are with farmers. We go to our operational areas. We are teaching farmers new innovations. You know, farmers are happy. They are praising government for engaging us in this program. You see, but later have you realized that even what to use as TNT to our operational areas are not even there. We are we are seeking for financial help from our friends, from our brothers, from our family, before we can go to our operational areas to work on government's behalf. You see, we love the work we've been employed in. We like to work as a station agent to help boost agriculture in the country. But if we are working and nobody seems to care about us, nobody takes our concerns into practice, then it's painful.
The agitated extension services providers were engaged in May this year to work over 24 months on a monthly allowance of 350 Ghana cedis. A letter of engagement cited by Joy News confirms the amount will be paid without statutory deductions. 45 cedis of the amount will go to the beneficiary exit fund, accessible to them at the end of 2-year engagement, and 5 cedis as insurance premium. They are in their 7th month and no peswa has been paid to them.
The Canadian government have released the money to the ministries, and we know they are going to release the money to the YEA for us to be paid. And up to now, we haven't received any money for 7 months.
If I say nothing, you know, money. They have not been paying us since we started the work. We are forcing, we are using our energy, but we haven't seen any money to also motivate us. We use our own money to buy Wellington boots, shared goggles, and so on. We use our own money, and we have worked for past 6 months and we haven't seen any money. How can we survive?
Though the letters of engagement were issued by Youth Employment Agency, the supposed beneficiaries work under Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Both state institutions are tossing the workers between them over the matter.
We went to the YEA office, and the YEA people said we should come to MOFA because MOFA brought us to them. And we went to MOFA MOFA said they gave us the YEA people gave us the appointment letter, so they are supposed to pay us. And now we don't know when they are going to pay.
350 cedis cannot be paid for 6 months. Senior, what sort of nation are we in? You see, how can we be employed for 6 months without allowance? And nobody is even giving us assurance. If you call, if send petition to the YEA office, we've contacted the regional MOFA directorate, we've contacted everywhere, all the sources, we've exhausted all the channels. We are not seeking anything, we are not hearing anything. Nobody is ready to assist us in any way.
So what do you want now?
We want our money to be paid because they have all the necessary data from us.
The volunteers questioned the delayed payment when government has secured funds from Canadian government for the project. They want government to intervene as Joy New checks reveal not a single beneficiary across the country has been paid. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reporting.
Now, cocoa farmers in the Amansia West district of the Ashanti region are appealing to government to introduce a cashless system for cocoa purchases and other transactions. They say this will relieve them of the hassle of going to the bank. Love FM's Nana Sensuminta has more in this report.
Cocoa contributes about 60% of Ghana's gross domestic product, yet there is little development and security in the farmers' line of work. The risk of armed robbery attack, especially during the major harvest season, remains a challenge. 60-year-old Kofi Kwache, with 5 children, is chief farmer at Mansu Damnase in the Amansia West district.
Yes, Abani say, I'm chief farmer Domnase.
Most often, we the farmers are targeted by armed robbers. They accost us from the cocoa purchasing point and take away our hard-earned money at gunpoint. I strongly believe the cashless system for cocoa purchasing and other transactions will not only reduce robbery attacks but also reduce our level of expenditure.
Here is Thomas Opon, president of Amansia West Cocoa Farmers Cooperative Union. He believes farmers will be better off if state and private cocoa buying companies transact business with them through a mobile money system.
That the policy I am talking about is mobile money system. I know that every farmer should buy even a phone and register the phone so that she can give the money into the phone. When the money is on the phone, there's no thief will come and steal it. Even at all, the farmer should protect the phone very well. Even at all, if the phone is lost, the money will not lose. So I appeal to the government to bring that system into cocoa production.
Meanwhile, a non-governmental organization, Cocoa Abrabopa Association, is already responding to concerns of the farmers with introduction of cashless payment to its members of over 7,000. The association paid premium commission to over 800 farmers via mobile money during the 2016 cocoa season. Albert Sefabuampong is finance officer.
I know that the government is spearheading gifts to improve on their electronic payment system and also ensure that by this November or very soon there will be interoperability and we can make payments across the various electronic payment platforms. And I will want to urge the Vice President who is spearheading this to help to ensure that this comes to fruition and it will help all cocoa farmers, it will help the LBCs, it will help the whole country.
Nana Sensumensa reporting for Joy News.
Still watching Joy News today, we take you back to that earlier story of the attacks at Kasoa because the Kasoa District's police has picked up 2 persons in connection with the death of a driver at Opekuma. The 52-year-old commercial driver was said to have been stoned by the land guards and had cutlass wounds inflicted on him following a disagreement over transport fare. Son of the late driver and a resident have been speaking with Adum TV's Nana Yabrefo. They narrated the torture they suffered at the hands of the land guards when they attacked them at home. We've been joined on the line by the Kasoa District Police Commander, Superintendent Stephen AHIATAFU. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Many people have been arrested. That's what we are learning. But who are they?
Hello.
Right. Commander, if you can hear me, I'm asking who are the people who have been arrested?
Please, your line is low. Can you raise your voice a bit?
I am asking, Commander, is it better now?
Yes, okay.
Good. I am asking that who are the people who have been arrested?
You want to know those who have been arrested?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for your listeners. Yes, 2 people have been apprehended so far, but you know the investigation is ongoing, so we will have to keep their names for now. When we conclude our investigation, we'll bring out their names.
Is it true that these people were land guards?
No, the land guard issue, my brother, you see, this is an issue between a passenger and a trotro driver's mate. Misunderstanding ensued because of a lorry fare. So the land guard issue being brought into it is making the whole story mickey. So I don't want to go there. What is before us, there's nothing like land guard. They were not fighting over land or whatever. They were fighting over lorry fare. There was a misunderstanding between, the driver's mate and a passenger on board of a trotro vehicle. So please, let's leave that one.
Right. Now, the residents of the area, from what they are telling our cameramen, that they are accusing the police of not responding on time when they rushed to lodge a complaint during the attacks.
You see, there is a serious issue ahead of us now. That is murder. That we are investigating. Let's just leave out the negativity and concentrate on the main issue. Yesterday, for instance, we had an information that the 2 main prime suspects in this heinous crime were also on admission at Winneba Trauma Hospital. I dispatched my men. By the time they got there, they had an information and they scaled over the hospital wall and bolted. So please, if crime is committed, give us a space for us to do our investigation and so that we can conclude everything and come out with our, whatever our findings. Than, following the negativity aspect of the whole issue.
Well, sir, that's well and good, but what the people are saying is that they rushed to lodge a complaint during the attacks. That means these crimes could have been prevented, no?
I had that information as of yesterday, so I have tasked an investigator to investigate that aspect of the story that they are saying. So when I conclude that also, we'll put it out to the public.
So the police will investigate the receipt of the complaint?
Oh, of course, yes.
Mm.
The guy who put out that information was in my office yesterday. I interviewed him. He said what he knew. I asked that they should take down his statement. Then the policemen involved, I asked that they should take all of them their statements. So for now, I don't think I'm in position to talk about it. When I finish with my investigation, if need be, we'll put it out.
Right. So it's possible that these police officers could be punished?
Sorry?
Is it possible that these police officers will be punished?
Oh, but we haven't finished with investigation.
I'm simply asking the possibility if they are found guilty. I'm simply asking of the possibility if they are found guilty.
No, police have their own. We have our own system.
Mm.
We have our system of, going into misconduct of the personnel. So if they are found culpable, why not?
Mm. Mm. Right. Thank you very much, sir. But then before you go, when are these suspects going to be arraigned before court?
This is a better case. The law says we cannot keep people for 48 hours. So definitely they should be in court tomorrow.
Right. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Superintendent AHIATAFU is the district police commander for Kasoa. Now, moving on, 50% of groundnuts in Ghana's marketplaces contain dangerous levels of chemicals which can cause hepatitis B. Research shows that increased cases of hepatitis B have been recorded in areas where groundnut consumption is on the rise. This was revealed by Programs Officer of Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Charles Nyaba, on News Desk today. Though the EU has lifted its ban on the import of 5 vegetable products from Ghana, Mr. Nyaba believes the stringent regulations should be applied locally or some diseases will continue to affect Ghanaians.
There's a research done by Africa Post-Harvest Loss Information Center, we call it AFLISH, and then AHIATAFU in 2014 and 2015. Post-harvest losses in maize in general is 35%, which means when you produce maize and you are supposed to harvest 10, you harvest 7. Then out of that, aflatoxin alone accounts for 16%. You understand? So that tells you the extent to which aflatoxin contamination is. Now there's another research conducted by 2 researchers, one in Nigeria, one in Accra. The Nigeria and then another one in the northern region. The northern region one was on groundnut, and then most of the groundnut sampled, about 75% of them were contaminated. In the Accra, the sample areas were where we process maize. That is where we used to prepare the mole and other things for the kinky. All those areas that they went, the mole that was prepared was contaminated with aflatoxin. Aflatoxin goes with moisture content and temperature. There's a, maybe I don't want to use the term, there's a fungus called aflatoxin Aspergillus flavus. That is the fungus that caused the contamination. Now, when you go to areas where temperatures are very high and the humidity is low, you don't have higher contamination. But you go to a place where temperatures are high and the humidity is also high, then you have higher contamination. So the level of contamination in Nigeria is different from the level of contamination in the north because the temperatures are different. Now, the way farmers also preserve their products in terms of storage, drying before storage, and the length of storage also determine the level of contamination.
Okay.
So I can't say that the contamination is universal. Okay. It depends on the agroecological zone and the kind of farming practices that farmers are putting. contamination is very high in groundnut than the maize. And then the groundnut we have between 12 to 16%. And then when we take maize, it's about more than 50%, as I mentioned. Wow. So that tells you that if you follow trend in recent times, hepatitis B cases increased. And it increased more in areas where we grow groundnut and then people consume more groundnut. If you talk to Ghana Health Service, they'll confirm that.
Some fuel and gas stations in the Wa municipality of the Upper West region risk being shut down if they fail to regularize their permits with the Environmental Protection Agency and National Petroleum Authority in the coming days. That's a directive by Upper West Regional Minister Alhaji Suleiman Al-Hassan. Alhaji Al-Hassan has given these stations a 2-week ultimatum to rectify the anomalies. He gave the warning during an inspection tour of the fuel and gas stations in the Wa municipality. Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Having fears that the gas explosion that occurred in Medina could be replicated in the Upper West region if adequate steps are not taken, the Upper West Disaster Management Team, headed by the Upper West Regional Minister Alhaji Suleiman Al-Hassan, made an inspection tour of fuel and gas stations in the Wa municipality. The Wa municipality has 23 fuel stations and 7 gas stations. The aim of the inspection tour is to check on the safety compliance, regulatory and technical requirement of the gas and fuel stations in the municipality. The team started the inspection at the Controller and Accountant General Department fuel station located opposite the Public Works Department and ended at the Jusbro fuel station at Konta. Upper West Coordinator of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Isaku Sedi Suleimana, spoke about the new direction of the organization.
This time around, NADMO is not just about management. It is about preventions. The preventions are our key. So that is why, with the consent of the Disaster Management Committee Chairman, which is the Regional Minister, and his other members of the committee, has decided to embark on this trip. And I think that it is so necessary and it's so wonderful for us. For the start, we will make sure that these preventions will actually happen in this region.
They produced 2 documents covering the siting of the fuel and gas stations, which included building permits, EPA license, property rate, tax and safety compliance from the various gas and fuel stations. The team observed that some of the fuel and gas stations have no EPA permit, building permit, and their insurance expired. The worst offender was the Subway Gold fuel station, where none of their documents seem to be working. The team also has doubts about the authenticity of some of the documents.
See, sometimes I'm out from you, and I'm giving you this permit to operate, and you don't have it. And rather, you're asking me questions.
Upper West Regional Minister Alhaji Suleiman Al-Hassan gave his impression about the inspection tour.
When we got to the Goyle filling station, and the gentleman had not even a single document that is worth considering. So that one, I was so sad about that. No fire, no insurance, no EPA, and even operating permit, business certificate, nothing. That was too bad. That was too bad for a station that has been too old in town. We all know how long this Goyle station has been in town, and for them to be operating without documents is quite serious. We gave him some 2 weeks deadline, 1 week, but somebody was asking that we should extend it to 2 weeks. So we will give him that time frame. Within 2 weeks, we will go back there. If those things are not ready, we will recommend to NPA to do something about that place.
One Municipal Chief Executive, Isaku Mumni Tairu, also expressed concern over the non-payment of property rate.
And we have a task force that will be coming out to handle that one. Because the property rates, we don't want to get ourselves entangled with the law, because some of them were asked to pay last year, and all that is our unassessed rates. And per law, you're not supposed to take unassessed rates for more than 1 year. And we are in the process of assessing all the properties within the municipality. But I know when that is done, I think a full team will go out and then take the rates for us.
Reporting for J News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Now, the Ghana Education Service, through its Guidance and Counseling Unit, is set to implement what it calls the positive disciplinary tools in basic and senior high schools across the country. This, they say, is to focus on building a safe and protective educational environment devoid of the use of canes and corporal punishment. What it actually means is that caning is being outlawed. Though this may be welcome news, others are of the view that sparing the rod is one sure way to spoil the child. Nancy Emefa-Dradosi has more in this report.
Has given approval to the Ghana Education Service to roll out what we call the positive disciplinary tool. Now, this is supposed to be an alternative correctional measure for students across the country in the basic and secondary schools, and to check them so that they move in the right direction rather than the old use of the cane and then the corporal punishment. But the question is, are teachers willing to accept the implementation of this policy?
It's a step in the right direction. Just that some of the things I read about, it will take a lot of time for it to at least deter a student. For the crop of children we have these days, they are very difficult. And when you compare the old system of punishing children to the current one, you realize that the cane was a bit effective.
I think it's not bad, because we are stick to caning a child, which is not the right thing. So putting in other ways, like letting the child write, I'm sorry, for maybe 100 pages. As the child writes, he's able to take it in mind and say, no, with this, I don't have to do it again, to repeat what I have done.
With the caning, when it's done sparingly, you see, it's not done excessively to punish the child. I don't think it's wrong, because as the good book says, when you spare the rod, you spoil the child. Sometimes the situations that we have in the classroom is very, very challenging. People fighting a whole lot. When it comes like that, you can use caning, not too much, just to correct the child, to discipline the child. Because maybe keep quiet, using all this will not work.
So there's always been this one thing that students and even I have been scared of, and that has been the use of the cane. The cane and other corporal punishment that has been adopted by our teachers and our parents for a very long time, being used as correctional measures when we go wrong. Today, let's find out from students whether they agree with the new implementation of the policy to ensure that the cane is banned completely from our schools.
I think it's a good policy, because if they cane the child every time, sometimes the child becomes scared of the teacher, and when the child doesn't understand the topic, or the child cannot approach the teacher to tell the teacher that I don't understand the topic taught today.
I think it should not be stopped in the schools, because it will serve as a deterrent to others never to commit that crime that the people who were punished committed.
I think that teachers need to agree with it, and if they go against this law, they must be punished.
In this system of the cane being used, the rates of indiscipline in the schools are very high. So if this caning system should be abolished, the rates of indiscipline and immorality in the school will be out of hand.
A Ghanaian parent is likely to, quote, spare the rod and spoil the child if you tell them not to cane their children. However, now that we're going to be having alternative ways of punishing our students in the very basic and secondary schools across the country, what do parents and Ghanaians in general make of this plan?
The children in Ghana, somebody knowing that this is what I'm going to face, or this is the type of punishments I'll face, you know very well that our children are moved by the punitive idea behind caning and those stuff. So taking it off, for me, it's something.
I think caning should be banned
because I feel that generally in Ghana, we grow up timid. We grow up timid. If you compare us to the advanced countries, you realize that the children are more confident, they're expressive, and all of that. There's space to explore. So yes, if caning is banned, it will help, I think, to get rid of a bit of the fear we have in school and all of that.
I don't think it should be banned. I just think it should be controlled, because I'm a person that comes from a home where they gave me a lot of beating, and it shapes you in some type of way, you understand? So I think it should be controlled, and it should be a last resort measure.
Counseling, guidance, recitals, agreements with students, meeting parents, meeting teachers are a few of the alternative correctional measures that are soon going to be adopted by the Ghana Education Service in the various basic and secondary schools across the country. But the decision lies in the hands of the Ghana Education Service to find out what exactly will be appropriate for this country. Reporting for Joy News, MFR Nancy Dradosi.
Now, according to the Ghana Education Service, GES, corporal punishment is responsible for the high dropout rate in junior and senior high schools in the country. Programs Officer at the Guidance and Counseling Unit of the Ghana Education Service, Roland Techi, says this position is informed by careful study. The service is therefore reinforcing the existing ban on caning in schools as part of a comprehensive campaign to stop violence in schools. The campaign will also target bullying and sexual harassment. He was speaking earlier today on News Desk.
Quite a number of children who are supposed to be in school are not in school, or they start school and then along the line they drop off. And various researches and studies within Ghana and outside have proven that our school environment are not very safe for children to continue or to enroll in school. And so that's why the GES, through the Guidance and Counsel Unit, has undertaken a number of initiatives to cumulatively make our schools safe, protective, and non-violent. Currently, the GES is embarking on a program that is known as the Promoting Safe School Environment. And what we are seeking to do in this area is to put together a set of tools, or a package of tools that will address issues of bullying, corporal punishment, and sexual harassment that studies have shown that are rife in some of our schools.
And this has been Joy News Today. I'm Daniel Dazi. Thanks for joining us.